Good morning. I now call to order the October 16, 2025 Clackamas County Board of Commissioners Business Meeting. County Administrator, please call the roll.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. First, our staff support today. Clerk to the Board, Andrew Jaraki. County Counsel, Billy Williams. Chair Roberts is out of the office. Vice Chair Savas is chairing the meeting today. Roll call. Commissioner West.
Here.
Commissioner Schrader.
Here.
Commissioner Helm.
Here.
Vice Chair Savas.
Present. Thank you, Gary. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It's always a refreshing moment to do the Pledge of Allegiance, knowing the history of our nation. First is public communication. Let's make sure I'm here on the script here. Yeah. First up is public communication. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person. I ask comments be respectful and courteous. As a reminder, you can email submissions for public communication at bcc@clackamas.us, and they will be accepted for the public record. I will take in testimony first. Before we begin, I'll remind everyone and inform some of you who don't know that there will be an earthquake drill at 10:16 a.m. this morning. If necessary, I will pause public comment so staff may briefly present on the drill before it occurs. I will resume public comment after the drill concludes. Clerk, would you please moderate in-person and virtual testimony?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I have received no blue cards for those members of the public who wish to comment. This is a final call. If you are attending this meeting in person and wish to comment during general public communication, not about any item that will specifically have a public hearing on today's agenda, this is your opportunity to please come forward, fill out a blue card, and deposit it in the box by the center doors. Mr. Vice Chair, I see no other members of the public physically present. With your approval, I'll move to those online.
Please.
If you're attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment, this is your opportunity to please raise your hand, and I will call on you in the order that I see. Mr. Les Poole, I'll unmute you. You'll have 3 minutes. Mr. Poole, you are still muted. Mr. Poole, we still cannot hear you if you are speaking. Mr. Vice Chair, I see no other members of the public wish to virtually speak. Mr. Poole appears to be having technical difficulties. Would you like to wait for him or at a later time in today's agenda, return?
Perhaps if you can figure that out, we'll circle back later.
Very good, Mr. Vice Chair. I see no other members of the public, either physically or virtually present, who wish to speak today during general public communication.
Great. Thank you. I will now close public communication. Gary, what is next?
Thank you. Next is a presentation on the Great Oregon Shakeout, which is a statewide earthquake drill, which is going to occur, as you said, Chair, at 10:16 a.m. Daniel Nybauer, who's our Disaster Management Director at the county, will do a presentation, and he'll time it so it's right as 10:16 comes up. So go ahead, please, Daniel.
Good morning, Vice Chair Savas, Commissioners, Administrator Smith, and County Counsel Williams. At 10:16 today, county employees will participate in the Great Shakeout Drill. Oregon Revised Statute 401.900 requires all state and local agencies to participate in an annual earthquake drill. Residents and businesses are encouraged to take part in the drill as well. Great Shakeout earthquake drills are an opportunity to practice how to be safer during an earthquake, specifically to practice drop, cover, and hold on. Whenever the ground begins to shake, drop, cover, and hold on is the best protective action to take. In a moment, we'll watch a video demonstrating the appropriate actions for various situations. It is important to practice drop, cover, and hold on, as practicing builds muscle memory. To learn how to quickly react, you must practice often. You may only have seconds to protect yourself in an earthquake before strong shaking knocks you down or drops something on you. Practicing helps you be ready to respond. There are over 1,000 earthquakes in Oregon and Washington every year, with at least 24 being large enough to be felt. The most recent notable earthquakes in Oregon were in 1993, a magnitude 5.6 in Scott Mills in the March of that year, and a magnitude 5.9 and 6.0 in Klamath Falls in September of that year. These might be considered relatively smaller earthquakes, with shaking lasting for approximately 30 to 60 seconds. The earthquake with the largest impact to Oregon and Clackamas County will come from the Cascadia subduction zone. The Cascadia subduction zone is a 600-mile fault about 70 to 100 miles off the Pacific coast that stretches from northern Vancouver Island in Canada to northern California in the United States. It is capable of producing over a 9.0 magnitude earthquake that could last 4 to 6 minutes. The last time an earthquake occurred on this fault was January 26, 1700. We know this based on indigenous oral history and historical Japanese tsunami records. The average recurrence rate of this fault is 243 years. That's 41 times in about the last 10,000 years, but it has ranged in a frequency of about 200 to 1,000 years. A full rupture on the Cascadia subduction zone would have profound implications not only for Clackamas County, but for Oregon and the entire West Coast as well. This is why, in addition to knowing and practicing this protective action, we recommend every employee and community member have a family disaster and emergency plan and kit, as well as items to live off for at least 2 weeks. It's a home kit with about 2 weeks' worth of water, food, shelter, and disaster sanitation, a vehicle kit with items to either shelter in place or to use to get to a family meeting place, a work kit for items to be able to shelter in place at work. There are new technologies and seismic sensors that have allowed for early warning in some cases, depending on where the epicenter of the earthquake is located. The Shake Alert system in Oregon provides that. It's an early warning system that detects earthquakes and disseminates alerts ahead of the shaking arriving. Depending on your location of your location and the location of the earthquake, you may receive tens of seconds of warning via the wireless emergency alert system or the My Shake Alert app if you have that on your phone. More information is available at shakealert.com. Got a couple additional items for context for the difference between what we saw in Scott Mills to the Cascadia earthquake. The difference between a magnitude 6 earthquake like the 1993 and a magnitude 9 subduction zone earthquake is about 32,000 times the release of energy. So to visualize that, if I had a single uncooked strand of angel hair pasta and that represented the 1993 earthquake, you would need 70 one-pound boxes of angel hair pasta to represent the energy that would be released during the subduction zone earthquake. So while a magnitude 6 to 9 doesn't seem that big, it's on a logarithmic scale. So there's a 32,000 times difference. Another interesting thing, just recently there have been studies that indicate a potential, hint at a potential correlation between a Cascadia subduction zone and a San Andreas fault. So they've looked at the earthquakes over the last tens of thousands of years, and there's evidence that sometimes they occur within an hour and days. Also, geologically, they consider a short time 50 to 100 years, but there are connections between the earthquakes that go, which give us greater reason to make sure that we're prepared, because if the entire West Coast is affected by either the Cascadia or San Andreas faults, we're certainly going to see a wide response and a lack of resources across there. So we have a short video to play that shows how to appropriately take the drop, cover, and hold actions depending on your situation.
Drop, cover, and hold on is the most appropriate way to protect yourself in the event of an earthquake. When the shaking begins, drop to your hands and knees. This position protects you from falling and allows you to move if necessary. Cover your head, neck, and entire body if possible under a sturdy table or desk. Hold on to your shelter until the shaking stops. Be prepared to move with your shelter if the shaking shifts it around. If no table or desk is nearby, go to an interior wall or low-lying furniture and cover your head and neck. If driving, coast to the side of the road, stop, and set the parking brake. Avoid bridges. If you have a wheelchair or have mobility impairments, set the wheel locks and lean forward. If in bed, stay put, hold onto the bed, and protect your head. Practice drop, cover, and hold on. When the shaking starts, you don't want to think about what to do. You want to know what to do. It could save your life.
If I'm being honest with you, dental implants had.
The drill should start in about 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Commissioner Helm.
Daniel, thank you for the presentation. You mentioned the app. Can you
Yes.
repeat what the app is again?
Sure. It's the My Shake Alert app. You can find that on either Android or Apple devices.
And then if you don't have it, we're still going to get an emergency alert on our phone, correct? You don't have to have the app in order to get the emergency alert on your phone.
It'll come through automatically in the wireless emergency alert system.
And what benefit is the app over just the emergency alert system?
The My Shake goes straight to your app, and it'll take My Shake over to the federal system that then comes to the wireless emergency alert. So you might get an additional 5 to 10 seconds, perhaps, if you have the app.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what I was wondering what the benefit was. Thank you.
Commissioner Schrader, when Daniel was talking about his pasta analogy, I was thinking of you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a lot of pasta. It's a little scary analogy. I'm not going to forget it. So I had a question. You know, I have 2 dogs. All right, what do we do with pets in this situation? I mean, they can't drop cover, but I know that one of the first things I would do is try and find them and gather them, you know.
Certainly.
Yeah.
The first action you take is drop, cover, and hold on. We say this, pets, children, anything like that. It's the same aspect as when you're on a plane and put your own mask on first.
Right.
You need to protect yourself. Just get there, protect yourself. Once the shaking starts, particularly if it's a cascadia, but even smaller earthquakes, you'll have trouble walking. Anyone will have trouble walking and moving, and then you're putting yourself in a situation where you could get hurt. So particularly if you get the warning, is get under, protect yourself, and then once you're out, then go and find. I know it's a difficult thing, just like on a plane, it would be difficult to put your own mask on first, but that is the guidance. Protect yourself first, because then you will be able to help.
Yeah. And I will say, thank goodness none of my grandchildren live in earthquake zones, so that's not here.
Well, starting a little early.
So it is a little early.
Shouldn't be. So there'll be an announcement on the loudspeaker in this room. We're going to pause when that occurs, but not for 2 more minutes.
Okay, Commissioner Helm.
And I was just going to say, speaking of reels, because, you know, one of my rabbit holes I go down are reels with dogs and cats on video, right? We need a little stress time. I saw a video the other day of a dog in a nursery with a baby in the bed, and the dog knew the earthquake was coming before, got up and covered the baby with a blanket and held on at the side of the crib. I don't think they can make those videos up. It was pretty cool. So animals are way more intuitive than we are, but
There is shaking that can be felt that is softer shaking,
Right,
that
before-
humans won't feel, that animals may feel and may have an understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, I've been in a couple big ones, 6.2 and a 6.7, and also in the 1993 quake that was 5.3, whatever that was. But
5.6.
I'll tell you, I heard it, I felt it, and but it's nothing like, as you go up in the Richter scale, a 6.2 or a 6.7, literally will throw you to the ground. I was actually thrown out of bed, and everything in my room, furniture, everything moved around. It was, and even the 5 the one, the Mount Angel one, or Mount Angel Scott Mills one, that actually did a lot of damage to one of my businesses. Had a liquefaction. It was in the liquefaction zone. And so having 3 locations, 2 business and 1 home, you could certainly see the effects of what liquefaction zones were. It really kind of gave a lot of credence to me, knowing, wow, look at what I had a mile down the road here and then 2 miles down the road. And I'll stop my comments here as we hear the announcement. That voice sounds familiar.
Is that Tony? That was Tony from our office, Commissioners, yeah.
Sounds like Jesus.
Anyhow, back to my comments, what I really want to say is we can't emphasize enough as the magnitude goes up and up and up, the intensity and the multiplier of the impact. So I can't imagine even a 7, let alone an 8 in this area, and God forbid, a 9+. So all good. Anything else, sir? Daniel?
No, that is all.
Okay. Thank you all for participating in that and your patience and the presentation. Okay, that brings us back to, we closed public comment. We went through our earthquake drill. Gary, what's next?
If you would convene as the Housing Authority Board, please.
Okay,
Vice Chair.
great. I will now convene as the Housing Authority of Clackamas County. Gary?
Thank you, Chair. This is the Housing Authority of Clackamas County consent agenda. Joining you online is Housing Resident Commissioner Ann Leenstra. Are you there, Commissioner Leenstra?
Yes, good morning.
Great. Good morning. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Consent agenda for the Housing Authority of Clackamas County. Item A, approval of the WorkSource Clackamas Infrastructure Funding Agreement, Memorandum of Understanding, and the Local Workforce Board certification. No county general funds are involved. B, approval of a resolution designating the executive director as the authorized officer to negotiate and execute a development agreement, street vacation, and Phase 2 replat for buildings D and E of the Hillside Park redevelopment project. Funding is through low-income housing tax credits, Oregon Housing and Community Services, and Metro, regional affordable housing bonds. No county general funds are involved. C, approval of a grant renewal application to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for 2 Family Self-Sufficiency Program Coordinator positions. Anticipated grant value is $211,659.80 for 1 year. Funding is the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Vice Chair, that concludes the Housing Authority consent agenda.
Great. Thank you. Do any of my colleagues wish to remove an item from this consent agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
Vice Chair, I move we approve the Housing Authority consent agenda.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Helm. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, and seconded by Commissioner Leenstra. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Helm and seconded by Commissioner Leenstra to approve the Housing Authority consent agenda. Clerk, please take the poll.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Commissioner Leenstra.
Aye.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, Mr. Vice Chair.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Leenstra, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
I will now adjourn as the Housing Authority and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. Gary, what's next?
Thank you. Next are 2 public hearings. The first public hearing is approval of a board order transferring jurisdiction over a portion of South Beaver Creek Road to the City of Oregon City. The order includes a one-time payment to the City of Oregon City of $997,000. Funding is through the Community Road Fund. No county general funds are involved. Mike Besner, the Assistant Director of the Department of Transportation and Development, will present.
Good morning, Vice Chair Savas and Commissioners. I am very excited to be before you about this item today. It's been a long time coming. To approve a board order transferring jurisdiction of the last parts of Beaver Creek Road that are within the city limits of Oregon City. From Highway 213 to shy of Henry C a little bit, there's actually a road called Timberski Way, which is actually the limit, but it's a pretty good amount. You might recall in June, the board approved an intergovernmental agreement with Oregon City to do this transfer, and it stated all the terms, including the financials. Since then, Oregon City did pass a resolution asking for it, which is why we're here today. This will be the final piece of the puzzle to get it done. The $997,000 is a lot, but it's a very large road transfer. And the way we come up to that figure is the value of 2 inches of asphalt over the sections of the road that meet certain condition criteria, in addition to a dollar figure for all the sidewalk ramps that don't meet ADA requirements. They'll become the city's responsibility to upgrade them at a later date. It also included a little bit of money for some signal improvements that were needed at Maple Lane Road that the county had already identified. This was also, it's being paid for by Community Road Fund, which is the county's local vehicle registration fee. It comes out of the portion we call the Strategic Investment Fund, and the board did approve that plan back in February, which did include this expenditure as well from that. And recall the Strategic Investment Fund's purpose, its main purpose is to help with road transfers by providing some funds as we transfer the responsibility and liability. The city passed their resolution on August 20th of 2025, and the county for 4 consecutive weeks per state law requirements had advertised this public hearing, which is a requirement for a road transfer. So as a result, we are here recommending that you approve the board order which will transfer Beaver Creek, the remaining portions of Beaver Creek Road.
Great. Colleagues, any questions? All right. I will now convene a public hearing on this item. Clerk, please moderate in-person and virtual testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. If you are attending this meeting in person and wish to comment on this specific matter, this is your final opportunity to please fill out a blue card and deposit in the box that can be found by the center doors. Seeing no members of the public physically present who wish to comment, I'll now move to those attending virtually. If you are attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment on this specific item, this is your opportunity to please raise your hand, and I will call on you in the order that I see. Mr. Lespool, I see your hand. I'll unmute you. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hopefully I'm coming through this time. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Poole, loud and clear. Please proceed.
Thank you so much. Just a general question, and that is, I understand the complexity under the surface of transferring Beaver Creek, a portion of the road. I certainly support it, and I understand that depending on the condition of the road and what it needs, that the county would be inclined to do some negotiating, but it's $1 million, and I would just encourage the commissioners to make sure we really need to spend that much money. I just haven't heard a compelling argument that we need to take this road as far as this agreement does, but I haven't been involved in the process, so I may be missing some things here, but it just seems like an awful lot of money. And I just hope that's getting consideration here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. This is a final call. If you're attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment on this specific public hearing, to please raise your hand. Mr. Vice Chair, I see no other members of the public physically or virtually present who wish to comment on this specific item.
Okay, great. Mike, I have a question. In the scale of things, since this program was put in place and since this money was basically dedicated for this very purpose, as you outlined, is this the largest transfer or one of the largest transfers we've ever done?
I wouldn't say it's the largest road transfer the county has ever done, but obviously dollar-wise, it probably is because of inflation, and the other ones would have been a long time ago. Under this program, we've done road transfers with Estacada, with Canby, we did 2, and it totaled over $500,000. We've done one with Wilsonville. We've done a few. This is the large, I mean, it's a large section. I believe it's around 2 miles of Beaver Creek Road. It's a pretty significant section. As it gets close to the state highway, it's very wide, multiple lanes. And obviously, the amount of work the county would have to do to it in the future would exceed $1 million when it came up to having to be resurfaced.
Right. And, just for the public's knowledge, this fund was part of the vehicle registration fee increase that the Board of County Commissioners made, and a lot of moving pieces of that. I won't get into that today, but perhaps Mr. Poole can recollect how some of that went. And if he has any further questions, please reach out to our staff with that. Colleagues, any other questions? Did I close the public hearing? I have not. Okay.
You have not, Mr. Vice Chair.
All right. And all are virtual. We've taken care of that. So I will now close the public hearing. And any remaining questions from the board? All right. Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
I move we approve the transfer of South Beaver Creek Road to Oregon City.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Helm has moved to transfer the South Beaver Creek Road to Oregon City, and Commissioner Schrader has seconded that. Is there any further discussion? Clerk?
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Vice Chair.
Great, thank you. Next up, Gary?
Thank you. The next public hearing is first reading of an ordinance to adopt Clackamas County Code, Chapter 9.04, Erosion Prevention and Sediment Control. No county general funds are involved. Cheryl Bell, Assistant Director of Transportation and Development, and Caleb Hugel, Assistant County Counsel, will present.
Good morning, Vice Chair Savas and Commissioners. It's a tall chair. Following board direction given in a September 30, 2025 policy session, we're here today for the first reading of new Chapter 9.04 to the County Code titled Erosion Prevention and Sediment Control. So this chapter, if enacted, will allow the Department of Transportation and Development's Building Codes program to implement and administer a required erosion control and sediment prevention program for unincorporated areas of the county outside cities and districts. So creation of this program is due to many regulations, but the primary driver is the Federal Clean Water Act. The Willamette River and many of its tributaries do not currently meet water quality standards for mercury and are included in Oregon's list of impaired waters under the Federal Clean Water Act. Mercury is found in soil, and a primary way that mercury enters waterways is from soil being disturbed during activities like grading and excavation related to construction. To address mercury in the Willamette River Basin and meet Federal Clean Water Act requirements, the DEQ has two regulations. They have very long names, so we use their acronyms. One is the Willamette Basin Mercury Total Maximum Daily Load, or TMDL, and the Associated Water Quality Management Plan, or the plan. So these two regulations, the TMDL and the plan, require the county to have an implementation plan to reduce mercury. Clackamas County, along with Water Environment Services and the cities of River Grove and Happy Valley, combined their required implementation plans into one plan, and the most recent plan was approved in May of 2025. The 2025 approval included a requirement for the county to implement an erosion control permitting inspection and enforcement in the rural and unincorporated areas where the county has jurisdiction over development activities. As the Building Codes program is responsible for managing development activities within the Clackamas County unincorporated area, through Chapter 9.04, the Building Codes program is proposing to implement and perform the work required by the TMDL and the plan through our existing permitting functions. So regarding the provisions themselves, this new chapter, there are three thresholds of work that require erosion control permitting. Construction activity that disturbs a half acre or more, construction activity that disturbs less than a half acre but is part of a common plan of development or sale that ultimately disturb a half acre, and construction activities that disturbs 500 square feet or more within 50 feet of surface waters of the state. Currently, if the activity disturbs an acre or more, permitting is required through DEQ or WES. So because of these existing permits, DTD will not be required additional permitting. To remain consistent with WES and other cities in the area using WES standards, the proposed Chapter 9.04 uses the WES Planning and Design Manual and Best Management Practices drawings as the guiding documents for this work. The permitting thresholds as proposed in the new code are exactly as presented in the DEQ requirements and are less stringent than the urban area. This honors the rural nature of the unincorporated area but meets the DEQ requirements for clean water. So adopting Chapter 9.04 is the key for building codes to provide this service, as the new code is needed to authorize staff to do this work. So in this effort, staff are respectfully recommending today that the board hold this public hearing, and read the ordinance by title only to add Chapter 9.04 to the county code, and direct staff to schedule a second public hearing on October 30th, 2025. So with that, we're happy to answer your questions and support any public comment.
Okay. Colleagues, any questions for staff? Okay. I will now convene a public hearing on this item. Clerk, please moderate in-person and virtual testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. This is a final call if you're attending this meeting in person and wish to comment on this specific matter to please fill out a blue card and deposit in the box by the center doors. Mr. Vice Chair, seeing no members of the public physically present wish to comment, with your assent, I'll now move to those attending virtually. If you're attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment on this specific matter, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order that I see. Mr. Vice Chair, I see no other members of the public physically or virtually present who wish to comment on this specific matter today.
Great. Thank you. I will now close the public hearing. Any questions from the board? Okay, seeing none. May I please have a motion to read the ordinance by title only?
I move we read the ordinance by title only.
I'll second.
Okay, it's moved by Commissioner Schrader and seconded by Commissioner West to read the ordinance by title only. Clerk?
Commissioner Helm,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay. Clerk, please assign the ordinance a number and read it by title only.
The ordinance will be numbered 03-2025, an ordinance adopting Clackamas County Code Chapter 9.04, Erosion Prevention and Sediment Control. Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from our commissioners? Great. The required second reading for this item will be on October 30th, 2025 at our regular business meeting at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary, what's next?
Next is the consent agenda. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Consent agenda for the Board of County Commissioners. Item A, elected officials. 1, approval of previous business meeting minutes for the Board of County Commissioners. 2, approval of a personal services contract with LRS Architects Incorporated for jail electronic system update. Total value is $415,930 for 2 years. Funding through budgeted county general funds, which are allocated to Clackamas County Sheriff's Office in Fund 420, Capital Projects Reserve Fund. 3, approval to accept a grant award from the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission for Oregon Behavioral Health Deflection Program. Grant value is $392,051 for 21 months. This is phase 1 of a 2-part grant. Funding is the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. B, disaster management. 1, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient grant agreement with the City of Portland for County Elections Office security enhancements. Amendment value is $210,000 for no time increase. Total agreement value is $479,103 for 2 years. Funding is through the Federal Emergency Management Agency. No county general funds are involved. C, technology services. 1, approval of purchase order to SHI International for text message retention on county devices. Order value is $164,669.89 for 1 year. Funding is through departmental cost allocation, which does include a small portion of budgeted county general funds. D, transportation development. 1, approval of the WorkSource Clackamas Infrastructure Funding Agreement, Memorandum of Understanding, and the Local Workforce Board certification. No county general funds are involved. E, health, housing, human services. 1, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient agreement with the City of Lake Oswego on behalf of the Lake Oswego Adult Community Center for older adult meal and transportation services. Amendment value is $151,420 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $492,566 for 3 years. Funding is the Oregon Department of Human Services and State Transportation Funds. No county general funds are involved. 2, approval of an amendment to a revenue intergovernmental grant agreement with the Oregon Department of Human Services for Medicare and Consumer Education. Amendment value is $9,024 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $60,560 for 3 years. Funding is the United States Department of Health and Human Services. No county general funds are involved. 3, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient agreement with the City of Oregon City on behalf of the Pioneer Community Center for older adult meal and transportation services. Amendment value is $225,783 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $711,995 for 3 years. Funding is the Oregon Department of Human Services and State Transportation Funds. No county general funds are involved. 4, approval of a revenue grant agreement with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for Community Development Block Grant Funds. Grant value is $2,132,803 for 7 years. Funding is the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. No county general funds are involved. 5, approval of revenue grant agreement with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for affordable housing project funding. Grant value is $910,234.29 for 8 years. Funding is the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. No county general funds are involved. 6, approval of revenue grant agreement with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for Emergency Solutions Grant funding for homeless services and facilities. Grant value is $191,357 for 2 years. Funding is the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. No county general funds are involved. 7, approval of an amendment to a personal services contract with Impact Northwest to expand supportive housing services for Hillsdale Park residents. Amendment value is $315,000 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $3,919,294.28 for 4 years. Funding is through the Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. 8, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient grant agreement with Cascadia Health for 6 additional months of behavioral health residential treatment services. Amendment value is $67,500 for 6 months. Total agreement value is $182,000 for 2 years. Funding is through the Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. 9, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient grant agreement with Fora Health for Recovery Campus Design and Development Services. Amendment removes certain state procurement standards with no fiscal impact or timeline change. Total agreement value remains $2,808,509 for 22 months. Funding is through Trillium Community Health Plan, Opioid Settlement, and Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. 10, approval of an amendment to a revenue intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Health Authority for communicable disease prevention training and immunizations. Amendment value is a reduction of $40,497 for 1 year. Total agreement value is reduced to $5,823,173.97 for 2 years. Funding is to the Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Vice Chair, that concludes the Board of County Commissioners' consent agenda.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues wish to remove an item from this consent agenda? All right, seeing none, can I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second?
Okay, moved by Commissioner West and seconded by Commissioner Helm to approve the consent agenda. Clerk?
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Commissioner Helm,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Vice Chair.
Great, thank you. Gary, what's next?
Thank you, Vice Chair. Next is County Administrator Update. That's me. I like to share the great work of our county employees during my update. Today, I'd like to recognize staff from our County Assessor's Office who received a very nice note of congratulations from the public. So this is honoring our taxation analyst, Dina Medicon from the Assessor's Office. She received this note from a member of the public. I would like to take this opportunity to write a letter of commendation for Dina Medicon. I contacted the assessor's office multiple times as I was trying to better understand my tax statement and had questions about bonds. With each interaction, I found Dina to exceed the mission of the assessor's office, which is we provide the highest quality public service. Dina was patient, provided me with timely information, and she walked me through how my taxes were figured out. She made me feel comfortable to call back for clarification. In an age when good customer service is often weak, it is refreshing to find a public servant like Dina who faithfully performs her duties and actually wants the public to understand the process and ask questions. Thank you, Dina, for the excellent service and all of our team in the assessor's office for the work they do to support us. And then finally, I did want to note, Commissioners, and you know this already, one of our department directors passed away this week, Cheryl Bledsoe, the director of our 911 that we call CCOM, faced a very, very short illness, but it was much quicker than anyone thought. And so Cheryl was quite an incredible leader and manager of CCOM, known not only here internally, but in the state and in the nation for her work supporting 911 and public safety first responders. As you know, 911 is a very, very important component of our entire public safety system. We have a world-class agency right here in Clackamas County, our county 911 system. And so just want to honor and recognize Cheryl for her service to the county. Well done service, and to her family, we send our love and thoughts, and to all the staff that work for her here at Clackamas County. That's my update today. Thank you, Commissioners.
Great, thank you, Gary. I'm always reminded how difficult that job is to work in CCOM 911. It takes a very special person to be able to do that work, and we've learned a lot, and Cheryl's leadership was fabulous, and she'll be missed. We all knew her. So thank you, Gary, for that. Clerk, I'd like to circle back and see if Mr. Poole, I know we said we'd circle back. He's no longer there?
Mr. Poole is no longer online, Mr. Vice Chair.
All right. Commissioner comments. First up, Commissioner Schrader.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Sorry, I have to clear my throat a little bit today. I just wanted to mention an event I went to yesterday at one of our most beautiful college campuses at Clackamas Community College. Our veterans group that we have, our advisory body, pulled together a full day of fun and food and opportunities for veterans. They had everybody from our county to the state, to local veterans programs, and anything that we can do and can make happen to help our veterans was at this event. And I was very pleased to meet them. I had a good conversation with a number of members of the VAC, as we call it, the Veterans Advisory Committee. They are very eager to become extremely involved with us as a commission. They have ideas of things that they would like to do, as well as these opportunities that they pulled together for veterans. And I'm going to be hopefully working with Commissioner West, who is in the Navy, and myself, because I've had a love of working with veterans for a long, long time. Also, we have recontacted the National Guard, and we are talking to them. And Gary, we'll have further conversations about this. They have things that they can do for us, like cleaning up parks and doing other things that they just do in general because they want to help the local community. And they were responsible for opening up Madrone Park, as we know, which is a beautiful park in between Estacada and Oregon City that is a climbing wall. But they were responsible for building the parking area, clearing the trails, things of that sort. And they are very eager to partner with our county and have that relationship again for things that we can do. I think it'll save us money, and guess what? There's no liability. But we'll talk about that, Gary, because you keep us on the straight and narrow, which is part of your job. I get that. The other thing that I wanted to mention with these folks is that we've reconnected with the generals as well. I have invited them to one of my ravioli dinners, so I'm hopeful we can get us all involved in that, you included, Gary, and all of us, so we can have that camaraderie and have that relationships that we build based on hospitality. It's a very important part of what we do as a commission. Other than that, I'm very busy calling colleagues at the National Association of Counties. As you know, I threw my hat in the ring to run for second vice president. And I know that there are two other folks who are also running. The good news about NACO that when you have folks that are your colleagues and you're running for an office, you become fast friends. So I'm actually looking forward to getting to know these two new brave individuals who threw their hat in the ring and working with them for the betterment of what we do nationally. So that's about it for me for today, and I probably have more I could tell you, but right now that's all that's in my head. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Schrader, and thank you for attending that VAC event, the VAC event yesterday.
It was fantastic.
You're absolutely right. They have been reaching out to me for quite a long time and advocating to be able to have more presentations and connect us with the BCC. So I'm hoping I can sit down with Commissioner West and see how we can help arrange that with his role as the VAC member. So again, thank you, Commissioner, for going there yesterday. I know we all had things going on. I could not make it, but so next up, Commissioner West.
Yes, thank you. Yesterday, myself and my colleagues, Commissioner Savas and Helm, had the benefit of going to another housing groundbreaking. Hasida is the developer for El Nido, which stands for the nest. What does that? It means the nest in Spanish. Doesn't stand for it. It means the nest. And so we had a really good turnout. It was the groundbreaking or the golden shovel moment that we all got to participate in. It was an honor to speak at that event. And it is 55 units. Just over 20% of those units actually will go to permanent supportive housing. The county has been working very closely with this developer to help make sure that those 10 units for our most vulnerable and sometimes most difficult to housed individuals is successful. It doesn't take very many of permanent supportive housing to tank a whole project, to be honest. And so those are some real concerns about how we can use those SHS funding. We gave over $12 million for the development of this project through SHS funding. And we want to make sure that that housing is successful. We had some issues at the Mercy, which was a recent project that had significantly more permanent supportive housing, but we have been able to work through those very difficult issues. So we're not just funding and walking away as a county. We want to be acutely involved with this population. It's very resource intensive, but that's part of the success of why we've been more successful than our counterparts in Multnomah and Washington County is because of our engagement, our relationship building, our commitment to being stakeholders in these different things, our recovery-oriented system of care. And so we've worked closely with the mayor on this project and with the developer. So I am cautiously optimistic that we will continue to see another successful housing unit. It takes a lot of work. It's not just groundbreakings. It's not just, ribbon cuttings. There's a lot that goes in behind that. We have very talented and capable staff. And when we do see issues arise in the community or within these housing units, we are on top of it. The board likes to stay very close to what's going on, keep our finger on the pulse. We are really trying to address these crises head on, and it has to have a very attentive board, which are the leaders. We're very much the leaders in how these things are developed and accountable for how they perform in our communities. So this is in Lake Oswego. Lake Oswego has a super high cost of living compared to the rest of the region, but this allows people that don't necessarily have that kind of income to also have a home there, which I think is fantastic, that people can have a place to stay in the community in which maybe they grew up or they want to call home, even if they maybe are a little bit different demographic or a different place on the socioeconomic ladder. We want to make sure those people have places to put their roots deep in their own community. And so thank you to all the taxpayers that said yes to this funding. And I think you can be proud of how Clackamas County is specifically utilizing those dollars in our community. And it was an honor to be there yesterday. And the biscottis were delicious, and so was the coffee that they provided. So thank you for that. I know they were good. I might have, they had extra, so I might have taken a few extra little biscotti baggies with me. So I swear it's under the $25 limit. Garrett, I see you laughing. It's been a busy week, a little bit of a blur, but
Yeah.
I know we have a little bit more going today and into next week. So that's all I have to report today, and I'm excited about the efforts that we're making and helping people recover and having housing be an aspect of that.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner West. Commissioner Helm.
I did attend the El Nido event yesterday as well, and Commissioner West, you are a dynamic speaker, as always.
Thank you.
It was a very positive, uplifting event. I will say, too, that one of the concerns you just brought up is about the permanent supportive housing units there and the care that people receive. This is a new program, and we're learning as we go. And we're on top of it, but I know there have been concerns from the community, and we do hear from constituents about this. But we have our thumb on this to make sure that everything is getting addressed as it crops up. So, with anything new, there's always little hurdles that we have to get over. I want to apologize to the Canby Fair Board. I did not attend my liaison meeting last night. I attended instead the Sunrise Corridor Visioning Celebration. I was involved in that about 18-month to 2-year process. A fabulous public engagement process that Jamie Stasny and the Department of Transportation put on to get that visioning work done. This brought all 3 committees together. I was on the steering committee, there was a leadership cohort, and there was also a TAC, Technical Advisory Committee. All of them brought together. Commissioner Savas was there as well last night, along with people of City Happy Valley, ODOT. It's a very exciting process, and we just need to find the money to build this road that we keep talking about. And it was brought up yesterday by Mayor Joe Buck. in Lake Oswego about the Boone's Ferry project that he'd been hearing about since he was a little kid. And it's one of the reasons why he ran for city council, so he would stop hearing about it and actually make it happen. So I said to Paul, it sounds very familiar. It sounds like Sunrise Corridor, doesn't it? But anyway, we'd love to see that happen someday. Yesterday, we had the C4 subcommittee meeting, 7:30. Those are these 7:30 a.m. meetings. They're just lovely to attend. Thank goodness that was by Zoom. And then the JPAC meeting this morning at 7:30 as well. I have more to talk about on that later, or maybe you're going to talk about it, Commissioner Savas, because I actually leave a little bit irritated from those meetings, and I have to just not have any more coffee, let me just say. Yeah. Tomorrow, I'll be attending the 4Ds Gratitude Night. That was the Adolescent Recovery Center that we toured. Are you going to?
I'll be there too.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I'll see you there, and very excited. That's over in Northeast Portland. Saturday, I'll be attending the grand opening of the Oak Lodge Library. I'm sure we'll all be there. We're so excited about that, too. So, and the Concord Community Center and Park. So, back to you, Vice Chair.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, I just want to, when I drove to the El Nido event yesterday down Boone's Ferry Road, drove by, Commissioner Schrader and I attended the groundbreaking for the Habitat for Humanity project.
That was there, yeah.
And so when I drove by, you could see some of those homes are erected and are still working on it, still under construction, but it's coming together. And I remember afterwards, for that groundbreaking ceremony, a number of us walked over, Mayor Buck and I and some other folks walked over to look at that project, the El Nido project, the property, which is literally just a short walk away. So, yeah, two big projects in that vicinity, and for all the reasons, in a high-income area, it's hard to find housing, and workforce people need to have a place to live, be able to work at those establishments. And that area of Lake Oswego, Boone's Ferry, is really booming. A lot of new construction there as well, businesses and homes and so forth. So parking was tough, and the peacocks were nice, too.
There were peacocks.
Peacocks
Bougie
greeted
Lake
us.
Oswego. Not just pigeons, they got peacocks.
I know.
Can I add to that really quick? So this property is 60% of the AMI or less, which is fantastic. And then also, there is the 4D Gala, but also Fort Kennedy is this weekend too. And so I don't know, yeah, I'll let you go, but I think we should mention that. Hopefully there's still seats if somebody wants to sign up.
Yep. Well, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, I'll be there Saturday night. So getting back to, my comments, I did attend the event last evening with Commissioner Helm, and, I would probably say for a public process in Clackamas County, no matter what, that was a great process, and thank you, prior Commissioner Diana Helm, your role in that, you participated in that, and you and others that were part of that group there were very helpful in moving this along. Staff, Jamie did a fantastic job, as always, and so last evening, I know you had to leave early, last evening when we recognized everyone, four of the members of the cohort spoke, and the Mayor Ellis spoke. I said a few words, and also Councilor Lewis was there speaking about the $12.5 million that they're contributing towards this next phase. And I took some time out when it was all done. Jamie was pretty well wrapping up, and she was just about done. And I took the role of recognizing her for all of her great work. And she has worked really hard. I just want to take this moment to just recognize her hard work, her passion that she brings. She's very tenacious. And you wouldn't know that when you meet her, but she works, she's a hard worker. She did a fantastic job. And as I told people, her passion and her energy is contagious. Of course, in a very positive way. And you could see that when the leadership cohort members spoke. So there was just a lot of positive energy in the rooms last night. So again, job well done. And this is the beginning of the Sunrise Visioning cohort coalition going forward. So we will continue to leverage the remaining funds that the state gave us for this project, and hope to work with the state and ODOT on this next phase to getting the the work done, the approvals done to begin hopefully a path towards construction of something. Yeah, yeah, that too, yeah. Last but not least, I did want to talk about JPAC this morning, and as Commissioner Helms cited yesterday was our C4 Metro Subcommittee. We have mayors and elected officials from around the county and district members who can attend that in preparation for the Thursday morning meeting. And so I get my blood pressure started on Wednesday, right? And then it kind of works into Thursday morning. I scale back on the coffee on JPAC morning. I usually cut my coffee volume in half before I get in my car. But this morning we went pretty well, actually. I think the first two items were pretty interesting. The third item was really TriMet talking about their service cuts, and I was brought in about a year ago into this conversation with some of the smaller transit providers that provide just normal bus service in rural Canby, rural Malala area, Sandy, and others, and our own here at the county that provides lift service and all the other means. But to try to solve this issue with the funding that was part of the HB 2017 transportation package called STIF. So if you hear the word STIF or STIF, that money, and I talked to people in the state legislature that voted for that, says the only reason I voted for that was because it was a promise to deliver service in the areas, rural or urban, where people didn't have service, just basic service, right? And because they were actually going to be taking a new tax to add to people's payroll, employees around the state. So if you look at if you get a check, payroll check in Oregon, and you look, if you see the itemized deduction, you'll see a small portion of that is for transit. And the promise was the delivery that, ideally, at some point, everyone would be on a path towards providing access within a half a mile walking distance from where you live, access to transit no matter where you lived. That's the goal. Well, unfortunately, the State Rules Committee, and influenced by a number of the larger transit providers, TriMet included, that was scaled back. Now it seems to be forgotten, and now it's backfilling the budgets. And so we had a lively discussion this morning, and I will tell you that I'm not going to forget the legislative intent, and as I testified before the state legislature, doubling the amount of that payroll deduction without delivery of the services is, I'm sorry, that's just not acceptable. And I testified in support of adding language to the bill. That was before sine die. That was HB 2025. That language was included, but the bill didn't pass. And then unfortunately, it was not included in HB 3991. But I do want to just share that when we were at District 8 meeting 2 Wednesdays ago, the co-chair of the Transportation Subcommittee, when I brought this up, had basically kind of gave us assurances that they're going to help us work with ODOT to continue that conversation. So I think my parting words were, when I testified in Salem, was, hey, if you're not going to deliver the service, give us our money back, right? Why take the money and not apply it to the purpose intended? So I get kind of wound up on that. I just don't think it's really fair. So anyhow, I will keep you up to date on that as that progresses. I will tell you that we have a coalition apparently that is building on this, not just the mayors in Clackamas County, but I talked to one of the mayors in Washington County this morning. I know their coordinating committee talked about it. Multnomah County members are also getting in the loop. So this is going to be more of a regional effort to turn this around, or at least have a discussion. So this is not just Clackamas County. This is a big deal, and there's probably over 500,000 people that are not getting the service that this money was designed to provide, and I think that's an injustice we need to work on. That said, I will be at the event Saturday night, and I will be at another event on tomorrow night. So be the last of 8 gala fundraisers.
It's a gala
8 or
season.
9, right?
It is gala season.
I told my wife is going to be a little bit upset when she sees the visa bill. But, yeah, but there's a lot of need out there. There's a lot of need. I just want to just thank all the volunteers that, by the way,
Can I ask, is it the Children's Center Gala tomorrow?
No, that-
Which one is that?
no,
I'm losing track of all.
you going to the Ford.
4D is tomorrow, and then Saturday is Fort Kennedy. And I don't know if you, Commissioner's Office, can explain what Fort Kennedy does.
Yeah, so Fort Kennedy, long time ago, one of our former employees, she started this effort to, and found a place sponsored by a local business owner in Clackamas, right on the edge of Clackamas, near Multnomah County, but still in Clackamas. And they start providing services similar to the Clackamas Service Center, but specifically for veterans. And a number of our active, and I would say prominent, members of our community who have a heart and a passion and a commitment towards veterans, approached me way back in 2015, 2014, about their efforts and what they're doing out there. And so I gave them a visit early on when they were there. It was because 2015.
I remember.
And, yeah, Martha, they invited you too. Yep, yeah, and I also went with one where we both attended, and they were lobbying us. And long story short, through that effort, Tina Kennedy is her name, Tina and her membership advocated for, hey, we need to have a shelter. We need to have a shelter in Clackamas County. So, long story short, they are providing those services there today still, some food, clothing, and connections, and trying to guide them into the network of services for veterans. But through their advocacy, Commissioner Strainer and I in our budget committee, and 5 members of our budget committee voted 7-3 to seed a shelter with $300,000 of our budget back then, which now has become the Veterans Village.
That was a masterful stroke on your part, I will say.
So that's not the most beginning piece of it, because Commissioner Schrader's advocacy and my advocacy goes back. Yours goes back farther than mine for veterans here in Clackamas County, because you've been here at the county longer.
You just did as much as I did. It was because of the deployments that were happening too.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of guards being deployed and having no integration services when they came back. And that's when I left the county for 2 years to go to the Senate, where I chaired the Veterans Services Committee, which was a real honor to do. And we're, Commissioner West and I, we're going to reinvigorate that whole, like I said, there's ravioli in the future for us. Reinvigorate that camaraderie that we have with the Guard, so.
How much policy has been created in this county over ravioli? That's what I want to know.
Probably
How much
more
actual
than-
policy gets done over Italian cooking?
Hospitality and opening your heart and home to people goes a long way.
Long
I've
ways,
found that
yes,
true.
it does.
We don't do this very often, where we have this, during
Talk.
commissioner comments, have this back, but I'm gonna just tell you that it might be, may not be, very regimented, right? We're not following the script, we're off script. But I really appreciate just the open dialogue and just kind of remembering. And my point of bringing this all up is that we have some great volunteers out there, and all these different galas and fundraisers. We might be giving what we can out of our own pocketbooks, but be mindful, there's a lot of, this. The public needs to know that there's a lot of volunteers out there that are giving and doing and a lot of work with no remuneration whatsoever. And so, thank you to all of you out there. With that said, we are adjourned.